Hare Krishna. Namaste. Chapter 4, which is entitled as Jnana Yoga. Sloka 27. sarvāṇīndriya-karmāṇi prāṇa-karmāṇi cāpare ātma-saṁyama-yogāgnau juhvati jñāna-dīpite. In the previous Sloka 26, we learned that one controls the senses from the external sense objects by offering those sense objects into the fire called senses. And we also saw then the senses are offered into the fire called sense control. Now there's one more entity that need to be considered, which is much stronger than the indriyas, the senses, and that entity is manas, the mind. Now all the indriyas which are controlled by various vayus, vayu means the air within the body, get some experiences. That experiences are now offered into the fire called manas. And that is what is focused on in this sloka. In the previous verse, dealt with controlling the organs of knowledge. And in this current verse is regarding the controlling the organs of action. Previously, we heard there are three ways that one can control the external object. Number one, removing oneself from the place where the sense objects are present. Number two, present in the place where the sense objects are present, but preventing the eyes and other senses to get engaged in those things. Number three, controlling the mind in the manner prescribed in the scripture. Yesterday we saw the first two to address and understand 26 sloka. And the third one, controlling the mind in the manner prescribed in the scripture, we will see that today on this 27th sloka. So what it means, just to elaborate the third point, controlling the mind in the manner that the scriptures are prescribing, one accepts the sense object that's accepted in the scriptures and reject those which are not recommended in the scriptures. And even in those which are accepted in the scripture, which we can accept, we only utilize those as much as it's needed, as much as is necessity. That's all. Not over-endeavoring or overdoing or over-accepting things. As long as we stay within the guidelines of the scripture, then that means we are applying and accepting that which is being prescribed in the scripture. In this way we control our mind and we will be safe and have a better life. sarvāṇīndriya-karmāṇi prāṇa-karmāṇi cāpare ātma-saṁyama-yogāgnau juhvati jñāna-dīpite. Here, āpare we also saw in the previous sloka, because we've been seeing different types, varieties of people who take up and follow certain things in this yoga system. So āpare means others, from what we saw before, others. Sarvāṇi, of all, indriya, the senses, karmāṇi, functions. Karmāṇi means the activity, the function. sarvāṇīndriya-karmāṇi, meaning the activities of all the senses. prāṇa-karmāṇi cha, the activities, functions of the vital breath. jñāna-dīpite, because of the jnana, knowledge, because of the urge for self-realization, urge for wanting to see the Atma, vision of the Atma. Ātma-saṁyama, called control of the mind. Ātma-saṁyama, control of the mind. Here Atma refers to mind, not the soul, living entity. Yogāgnau, into the fire of the yoga, juhvati, offers. What it says is, others who are interested in achieving self-realization through control of the mind and senses offer the functions of all the senses and of the life breath as oblation into the fire of the controlled mind. That is to say, some yogis offer the activities of all the sense organs and the actions of the vital breath into the fire of yoga, of control of the mind, by cultivating the knowledge of the self. So that's a point been made here in this sloka. That is, these yogis endeavor to prevent the mind from functioning in tune with the actions of the indriyas and the vital breath. In other words, they restrain their mind from cooperating with the sense and the vital breath in their activities. So cooperation, non-cooperation, we talk about this very often. We have to cooperate with others, we have to work with others in unity, etc. But when it comes to mind, we should not be cooperating with the mind. We should not cooperating with the senses, especially with the senses, as that's the topic now we've been discussing here. Especially when they are trying to pull us away from the goal of our life. So in that way, we should not cooperate at all. And that's what this yogi is trying to do. The yogis restrain their mind from cooperating with the senses and vital breath, the prana vayus and so forth, in their activities. Otherwise, they will try to pull us. So it is declared in the scriptures that the mind as superior to the indriyas and as a very powerful one. After dealing with controlling the senses and sense objects, now the mind has to be stated as the critical entity that to be controlled. Hence, through the term here in the sloka, ātma-saṁyama, meaning controlling the mind, is being mentioned. Jñāna-dīpite, the jnana influences the mind to focus on the Atma, not on the body. All the functions of indriyas and the functions of prana-vayu are offered into the fire called mind as oblation. That is the message here. Initially, in the previous sloka, we saw that the sense objects are offered into the senses, and the senses are offered in the sense control. Now here, by the influence of the jnana, the mind focuses on the Atma. Therefore, all the functions of the indriyas and the prana-vayu now is made an offering, becomes an offering to the mind, oblation to the mind. Now, jñāna-indriya, eye by which we can see the forms, ears by which we can hear the sound, tongue by which we can taste the things, nose by which we can smell, skin by which we can touch. These are called jñāna-indriyas. These are offered as oblation into the mind control. Karma-indriyas, another 5. Vak, pani, pada, upavastam, where you discharge the waste from the body, or engaging in family life. Vak means speech, pani means vak is to speech by mouth, and pani is to lift things, hold things, that's hand. Pada is our legs to walk. Upavastam is to discharge the waste things from our body. Also, those things are used for engaging in family. So they are called karmendriya. These things are also offered as an oblation into the fire of mind control. Then the prāṇa, apāna, vyāna, udāna, samāna, the 5 air which travels upward, another one travels downward, another one spreads throughout the body, another one brings equilibrium to the body. These are also offered as an oblation into the fire of mind control. So 5 plus 5 plus 5, jñāna-dīpite, and 5 prāṇavayus. They are all offered as oblation to the fire of mind control. So wanting to see something beautiful is not triggered by eyes. We should understand this is at this point very clearly. It's not that my eye want to see something beautiful. Eye doesn't have any knowledge. Our eyes. Wanting to eat something nice is not triggered by our mouth or our tongue. These are indriyas, or just instrument. Say like the browser that we all use in our computer or in a device to browse through the internet. This browser is just a tool. It can present anything that we want. But someone behind the browser controls it and tells what to be presented. Likewise, these eyes, these senses, eyes, ears, nose, etc., are just browsers or just tools. But the mind directs them what to see, what to hear, what to touch, what to speak, etc. When these senses are controlled by the mind on what to see, what not to see, etc., then it means one has offered the senses into the fire of mind. But that controlling of mind should be good ones as prescribed by the scriptures. That is, what has been recommended by the scriptures to see, to hear. Though like that, it's not just offering something into the mind. Even bad thing can be offered into the mind. And say I am offering everything into the mind. That cannot be accepted. Therefore, that which is good, the good which is recommended in the Shastra, those things has to be offered into the mind. So the scriptures has told us what to see, what to hear. That can be seen and heard. What scriptures have told not to see, not to hear, one restricts from seeing and hearing them, is what means to say control the senses. In the yoga system, it is in Patanjali yoga system, it is said there are living entities which can be categorized into two. One is pratyeka-ātma, the another one is parāga-ātma. As long as the soul is attached to sense enjoyment, it is called parāga-ātma. But as soon as the same soul becomes detached from such sense enjoyment, it is called pratyeka-ātma. And that is done through directing the mind with the jnana, the knowledge of the Atma. And he controls the functionality of the vayus and offers that into the mind control. So in this sloka we learned a person cultivate by the knowledge of the self offers the indriya, the actions and the actions of vayus into the fire called mind as oblation. sarvāṇīndriya-karmāṇi prāṇa-karmāṇi cāpare ātma-saṁyama-yogāgnau juhvati jñāna-dīpite. Namaste. Hare Krishna.